The only thing he asks is that if we eventually do go out to do the work, that his company be allowed to participate in the bidding process. Well, of course we would. And of course, we don't look at gift horse an amount. I've used him under the same circumstances before, and he would provide a pretty extensive report that we would provide to both boards. And free is good. I don't think there's any risk to the district in doing this. At the same time, we may not need a full 2-year extension. I would still say let's do the extension for 2 years just in case we run into a hiccup, so we don't have to come back and extend it again. But at the same time, I would recommend to the board that if you would take action tonight to allow us to work with the Twin Rivers Unified School District, and they would go to their board as well, to extend the existing 50-year contract just by 2 years, so we can look at the study, come back, review it, see what the costs may be to the district, school district, and our district, and to see if we want to, based on that, if we even want to go forward in that direction or not. But if you allow us to do that, then we'll go ahead and both parties will work to secure a 2-year extension before the December deadline.
So since that's not on the agenda, you just want kind of a general consensus?
Actually, I did have it on the agenda.
You do?
Oh, I did not put it on. You're correct. Yeah, just a
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just a general consensus of if you want us to go forward with this, and we'll come back to you with a more formal.
I mean, I think,
I think it's
absolutely.
Yeah.
The only thing I would make a suggestion is when we start getting into looking at if we're going to do something, is to see if the Highlander Dolphins want to get somebody kind of involved and get the swim team, since that's a big usage for them. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, not to belabor the point, when we went through this, it was nice to have a set of professional eyes that know what they're looking for. As an example, the heater that's in the pool, it's actually probably the finest heater that's ever been built. And it's 50 years old. Problem with it is, the minute you start doing work there, you're going to have to bring this up to code, and which means he explained you have to remove it and replace it with a very costly heater that will never be as good as the one you have, because of all the things that have changed to make these things up to code. But we have some very obvious issues and problems with the pool that we can see, and obviously when they do a more extensive study, they'll be able to dig a little deeper. But the idea is that we do have a pool, and it is used by the community. It's on its last legs, and we want to see whatever we can do to try to preserve it and get a little bit more use out of it.
Does anyone have the date and when we actually did the last major upgrade?
1991.
Okay.
It was a new deck,
Yeah.
and that deck has already failed and needs to be replaced as well. It doesn't. It far exceeds the. We get some waffling in the deck, and it far exceeds the grade that ADA required. And we have a lot of other ADA issues we'd have to deal with if we start to upgrade the pool. So, we'll come back to you if you're okay with moving forward. We'll come back to you with
I think absolutely. Because I remember when that was done, because my daughter was in swim lessons then. So.
Okay. All right. So the next item I have is just a heads up on the Head Start lease agreement. I reached out several times to Brenda Campos, who's the Head Start representative, and I guess they were in the middle of a 10-day audit, and they just finished it up, and so I reached out to her again, and she will get back to me shortly. Based on the meeting that we had with Sarah and Diane and myself, they were very insistent that they did not want to go anyplace and that they did want to stay there. So I do not anticipate there to be a problem. And the way we've approached structuring this new lease, dollar-wise, won't be a whole lot different than what they're paying now, but it will set us to protect the district going forward for utility costs and those kind of things as we go forward. And the next thing I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the Silverado Homes proposed residential development. I met with representatives of Silverado Homes about a week and a half ago, and they brought me up to speed on the new development that's, I believe is going to be located south of Alberta Road and west of Watt Avenue near the Walmart. And if I say anything wrong, I'm sure they'll correct me and make sure we get the facts straight tonight, but I believe it's a 3 to 4 year project, over a couple hundred homes that would include a park to the district of between 3 and 3.5 acres. Am I going good? All right. With Brian Spillman, who's the Vice President for Land Acquisition for Silverado Homes, A member of his team is here this evening and to come up and fill in the gaps and answer any questions that the board may have.
What you, come on up to the podium if you'd like. Because I have one just off the top of my head here, and Larry may have the answer to this, but I'm looking at the map. I noticed down John Paul Main Street, which isn't named, there's kind of like a little green belt, you know, on the left side and halfway on the right side. So is that something that the Park District would then be responsible for?
And that's a great question because we don't have the answer. It'd be one or the other.
Okay.
The Parks District or the County CSA.
Okay.
Part of their maintenance.
Okay.
The homes that we would build here, we would have an area benefit district for the
Okay.
for landscape maintenance, road maintenance, lighting, trash, that type of thing.
Okay.
And the condition that's on the map currently, because this map was previously approved for 241 lots.
Right.
When Beazer had control of it.
Right, way back when. Yeah, I was here then too. So.
Required that this community form a CFD, maintenance CFD,
Okay.
for the Parks District.
Okay.
So there'll be a study that
Okay.
will figure out what the maintenance costs are going to be, the programming in the park,
Gotcha.
capital reserves, replacement costs, everything of that nature would go into that and then be collected to the tax rolls.
Right. Okay.
And so to piggyback on that, if it would become a maintenance responsibility for the district and the same crews that were doing maintenance in the park, we're doing the maintenance along that trail corridor coming down.
Okay.
That would be part of that equation.
Okay.
If it goes to the county CSA, then obviously that.
Okay. Yeah, I work for the county, so I know how that works too. So. Anybody else have any questions?
I have a couple.
Yes, sir.
What is the size of homes that you're planning on putting on this?
So we have two product types here, and RD10 is kind of in the map before you, is up near the top near Alberta, so it's about 10 to the acre, and that's supplanting the RD15 that was previously approved there, which were attached kind of townhomes with alley loads. So in those particular homes, we'll have 3 homes ranging from 1,350 to about 1,650 square feet. One single story, and then the other 2 will be two-story homes. The lighter yellow, it was an RD6 designation until about a week ago, Jerry. The county development standards, so we're now in an RD7 zoning designation. Those are a little bit larger lots. They're 47 by 100 feet deep, and then there's some 52 foot by 100 foot deep, and then obviously the cul-de-sacs and some of the corner lots range a little bit larger. Those homes will be starting about where the others leave off, so about 1,800 square foot. There'll be a large single-story ranch-style home there, and then we'll work our way up to about 2,200 square feet.
And all single story or?
No, just one single story, and then there'll be actually 3. I'm sorry, I have to take that back. 2 single-story homes and 2 two-story homes. So 4 models altogether.
You're good, sir.
Fine.
Great.
Brian,
Yes.
did you have a presentation to make tonight? Because we kind of jumped right into questions.
It's very. I
Well,
appreciate
it's
the-
not an agenda item.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, and I don't,
Quick
beyond
questions.
what's before you,
Right.
and just to get you up to speed a little bit,
Because I do have questions, but I want to give you an opportunity to do what you plan to
Well,
do
it's
here tonight.
the reason I didn't do that, Greg, again, it's
No,
not an agenda
I'm
item.
not criticizing.
Right, now, that's why, because I didn't want, it was an agenda item, this was just for us to ask questions. So, if you had a question, I'd rather have you ask questions and not do a presentation.
Okay. The western border,
yes.
is that a street that is the western border, or is that
No,
into a vacant property, a vacant land?
There's about 8 5-acre parcels that line that. Some of them run north-south along Alberta. I think there's 3 parcels there, and then I forget the street. Is it 28th Street?
Yeah.
28th Street
Right.
that runs. So it's just opposite of where Cherry Islands Golf Course and the soccer complex is. It runs down that way. At one point, our company, or under a different name, we had that under contract. That is something that we would possibly entertain. Going back and trying to put that assemblage back together and maybe doing a little bit of development to to the west of this particular community.
So the western border, this floor plan we have, or land use plan we have now is not 28th Street. There's a section of bare land that'll be, okay.
Yeah,
I just-
and that's what we have. We do have some of those stub streets. for
That's
future
why I was
connections.
worried if those were going to be access streets to 28th Street, or are those just dead ends? And
There would be dead ends and blockaded temporarily until that western portion would develop.
that was my one.
Yeah.
Okay. I just have one more. So where is this with county planning right now? What phase are you in?
So it's a great question. So we've met with the county under their PAM process, preliminary application meeting, and they've looked at a version of this, and with their input, we made some tweaks. Met with Larry, and we're looking to resubmit our application. Our application won't be for a tentative map, but for the modification of the existing tentative map.
Okay.
So we're losing, I think, about 12 lots from what was approved previously. The benefit of that is we can rely ostensibly on probably about 90% of the existing EIR that was prepared for Alberta Park. We will do updates for the arborist, because the trees grown since they last did that. We'll do an update to the acoustical study. Chiefly before is they had homes fronting on Alberta, facing it, and whereas we're a little more conventional, we'll have a sound wall. So that will affect that study. And then, I'm trying to think what else, there was one other, the 401 water quality cert and the 404 permit. There is a valid wetland delineation for the property.
Right.
There's a small couple seasonal wetlands and I think one small vernal pool. And so that we'll go ahead and we've consulted and hired Gibson Scarlett. We're going to go ahead and take that forward to get the permit and the 401 water quality cert, which the park is part of under the new water quality standards and some listings. And we're proposing actually a pond. If you look at the map, that little blue area, kind of bean shape, and that would serve as a water quality, basically first flush, stripping all of the nutrients and other things that come from the street as it rains, would go into that pond, settle out, and then empty into the creek. Okay. And one of the other reasons we thought that would fit well within there is kind of that open space combination with the park. Once we figure out the programming, which we anticipate will probably be some playground equipment. The buyers that will be moving here, especially with the RD10, will be first-time homebuyers, young families, young children, and so we think that playground would be key and important. Additionally, though, we think it would serve as a good kind of potential trailhead for future development to the south and to the west, along the creek, and eventually maybe even tying in with the Dry Creek trail system and the bike trail that's on the other side of the soccer complex there. So bring that integration together, and certainly it's something that we would value and think would be a nice amenity for the project, which helps us sell homes.
Okay, last question, timeline?
Timeline, good question. So we're looking to be back into the county with the amendment first week in June. We're looking probably to have entitlements approval February, March next year, 2015. And then we would, if that's tracking well, we would probably kick off improvement plans right about that time for a spring grading permit next year. So about this time next year, we'd be looking to break ground.
Okay.
I still thought of a couple more after
That's fine.
a couple of things you mentioned. What is the property to the south of this proposed? What is that? Is that open space, or is that currently land that's owned that has homes on it?
It's currently a 10-acre plus or minus parcel owned by Mr. Keith Morgan.